Everybody, Robert with RC Archery. We've got Jeremy Balderrama with Heart of Texas Archery as well. And then today we also have a special guest. We've got Adam George with us as well. So he is the owner of George's Gizmos, and he also shoots some pretty unique bows in his time, especially right now. He's got a Genesis bow that he's tricked out and is shooting what you shot a 29X with it, right? 29X Vegas game recently.
That's my highest ever with any bow,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, which is just it's mind blowing. I can't shoot a 29X with my fully normal target rig, and you're doing it with yours. So thought this one would be really fun to do as a video and audio podcast. So you may be watching this on the YouTube channel, you may be listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but there is a video format for this too. If you're just listening and if you would like to follow along, Adam's going to be showing some different things with his bow and just different things along the way. So I thought it'd be cool to mix these both together. But Adam, thank you for coming on here and wanting to do this with us and letting us talk with you and kind of invade your space a little bit with your bow.
Yeah, thanks for letting me join. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
man.
sure.
Happy to have you. I just wanted to say first off, Adam, congratulations on the win the other day. That was extremely impressive with who you were shooting against and everything, and the scores that you put up in that tournament over there on the the Northwest coast. What was that in Bend, Oregon, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, over in
Yeah,
Bend, Oregon.
yeah. Congratulations on that win, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was following along with that on Saturday. I was texting Jeremy after when all the rankings came out, and I was showing him, where you were at on the list, and then Sunday when it came out, I don't remember if one of us was working and the other one found it, and we were showing each other, and we are like, "Holy cow!"
So Sunday was
Oh, that's
not
really
easy.
cool. Yeah, I bet. Well, before we get into the exciting stuff about the bow, you started Adam's Gizmos. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? It's 3D printing. Looks like grips mostly, but you've had some other products too. You had a torque indicator and just some other stuff. So, um, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Burgess Gizmos is mostly focused on 3D printing bow grips of different varying angles and shapes. But I do occasionally come out with some other products, like I have some what I call a riser guard. That way, if you like most heat seeker risers, you're ding up the front of the riser because you're loading the arrow not very gently. And so I have a couple of those. I've done some string stops, but I don't know if I want to continue doing that as it's more of a safety concern than any of the other things that I've been doing, but we'll see as I continue. Um, I've done some scope rings, starting to do some kickstands, and just kind of, yeah, mostly focused on grips. That's kind of where everything started.
Nice. So did it just start out as like a personal, you needed something, so you printed it out? Is that kind of where it all began?
Yeah, so like I had a bow that I just did not like the grip of. And so I took and I was trying to figure out how I could do it. And I took some epoxy putty and put it on the riser, shaped it out the way I wanted to. And it still wasn't quite right with it, just became too bulky with epoxy putty. So then I took a big file and started filing on epoxy putty and also the aluminum riser to get it to the shape that I wanted to. So yes, I did take a file to a bow that I did buy, and it I still have the bow because of course I can't sell it at this point. But that kind of then started the process, and then my dad got me a 3D printer for Christmas one year, and then that just allowed me to go to the next step of 3D printing grips, trying it without actually modifying bows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just became easier, and then other people became interested in, and then the business kind of kicked off from there.
That's really
You
cool.
don't mind me
But
asking, if you don't mind me asking, like, so are you self-taught on the 3D printing side, like doing the whole CAD system and all that kind of stuff, or do you work with that generally?
I have an associate's degree in drafting technology,
Okay.
and what I do for my regular job is I'm a senior mechanical designer. So I'm in SolidWorks every day at my 9 to 5. So I have CAD backgrounds with AutoCAD,
Okay.
SolidWorks, some other free CAD softwares online, and the 3D
Yeah, so that
printing,
helps out.
and learning that just because of the CAD.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. I mean, I haven't tried doing 3D printing myself or messing with the CAD programs, but I know like I have friends that do. And from what I hear, it's pretty difficult, like making sure everything's right or having it built the way that you need to off the plate. So that definitely helps out on getting, having to step up where other people are trying to make their own stuff, and then you're over there, showing everybody up with all your. I mean, I've seen the grips and stuff. They look very nice. I've seen them in person. I have a buddy over here, Doyle Ritchie, who has one,
Okay.
and they are great. I mean, it's a nice grip, dude. I mean, you do fantastic work.
I appreciate that. No, I put a lot of focus on a quality product. It's like I don't want to have a grip with my name on it that isn't up to my standards, which I have pretty high standards for what I design, what I make. And you can actually like I kind of wish I had pictures of it all, but the progression of what I've learned with the designs of the grips and also how I can manipulate the 3D printer to make the product look even better and feel
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah. Because I imagine like the very first ones that you made are nowhere near like how nice the ones that you're producing now. I know how that whole progression can definitely work. So, but you're definitely moving in the right direction for sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to shoot the first ones that I made because they were comfortable.
Was that the ones that you made for the Genesis?
No, it was a Darton Veracity 35
Oh, okay.
that I made one with, and it is so blocky that I'm like, how did I even don't think this was comfortable?
That's really cool to see. Like I have only ever messed with that on a very rudimentary scale, I guess the best way to put it. Um, I watched a 10-year-old make a X-Wing fighter on a CAD program one time after they taught a class in school, and he like took off on it and really liked it and started like YouTubing it and all this other stuff, and dude built all that, and I was just like, all right, that's way more advanced than even I could do. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
um yeah, dude, that was nuts. That was really cool. And I'm like, I've done easy stuff, like little small regular shapes and things like that, but it's super hard to do all that. So like that's really awesome. You're able to make all that stuff and do it, and you can make it exactly how you want it, which is even cooler. Which is a huge benefit too, as well.
Which
I made,
you
go
also
ahead.
do your own texture on the back of the grip, right? Like you have your own, um, yeah, your own stippling and everything that you have on there. Like I
Yep.
haven't seen any that are like that, and I mean it definitely grips because my buddy has sent pictures of his hand after shooting for a while, and I mean you can see all the little dimples in there from where that stippling is. So it definitely grips on there really well.
Yeah, that's one thing I've experienced with any grip, whether it be factory, aftermarket, is like when your hand gets sweaty, when it's raining outside, even with the wrap on the grips, it's like your hand can still slip.
Mhm.
Where the idea behind the stippling is to make it so, of course, you place your hand once, and from the time you set it to the time you get to full draw, you don't have like your hand's not going to move. If it does, you lift your hand up into high risk position and then shift it over and then set it back down. It's not going to just slide sideways without like potentially scraping up your hand.
Yeah, and it's also a good thing to have because it shows you, like you're talking about, like it shows you if you're doing something goofy. Like if you
Yep.
have like your whole hand for all the people that are watching, if you have your whole hand across here is all messed up from the grip, then you know that you're changing things as you're going versus being very consistent with that grip.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of a good thing that I've noticed also is like you'll get vertical lines if your hand is moving up and down. And if your hand's moving side to side, you'll get horizontal lines. And then
Okay,
you'll just get a full red spot if your hand's not consistent in any direction at all.
interesting. That's pretty neat.
So yeah, it's kind of an indicator also.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
a really good
imagine
indicator to
too.
have.
Yeah, I would imagine too with the aggressive knurling and everything on there, you'd probably feel it if you start rolling your hand around the grip too, like mid shot or anything.
Yeah, and if you do that, your hand can get calloused up and pretty sensitive if you're not
Yeah,
used to, if you don't have pretty rough hands to begin with.
can imagine.
So if they are too aggressive, I do recommend sanding the stippling down, and it doesn't take much to make it feel softer, but yet still have a decent amount of texture.
Cool, cool. Do you have a favorite part that you've ever created 3D printed? You have anything that you just really thought was fun to make or just stands out?
Um, One of the latest grips that I made that I'm in the process of making for the Dart and Tri-Check, that one I think is going to be my favorite. But overall favorite project is a third axis tool that I've been working on. And I have one that I've made previously, and it worked really well. It just looks kind of clunky, kind of like my first grips did. But I have a new design that only locals know about, and it looks super clean, and I'm kind of excited. Like it won't come out until probably next year sometime, but it's getting closer.
Nice.
I'll definitely be
The
keeping an eye out
original
for that.
one. Yeah. The original one you mentioned, is that the one that's the YouTube video tagged on your Instagram channel?
Yes,
Okay. Nice.
and that
I like
one
that.
had a very small bubble, and it worked. Like I said, it worked. It was just some small things that could definitely be improved, and the next one improves upon that and then some.
Nice. Yep. We're gonna have to keep an eye out for that when you get done with it. That'll be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Especially
definitely
for
makes it you don't
like,
have to spend the time shooting your third axis in. It's just you set it with the tool that I have, and then you just go out and verify. And if it's off, which I haven't experienced it being off, then you just make micro adjustments at that point.
very cool. Yeah, I
Do
was
you
gonna
draw
say like with
back?
Jeremy doing all his field stuff and getting ready for all that, that'll be really handy.
Yep.
Yeah, so are you drawing back with that on there or like in shooting with it, or are you just like I don't want to get too much into it because I know it's still a product that you're working on, but I mean, can you actually fire the bow with it, or is it like something where you just draw back and just kind of angle down, angle up and see if anything changes?
I do not recommend firing the bow with it because
Okay.
if you look at the first one that I did, you can't actually look through your scope because it
Yeah.
mounts directly to your scope.
Hmm.
And so if you're shooting it, you'd just be blank bowing. But you also have a cord that's attached to the string, and just all the extra whiplash and everything else could cause something to come disconnected or dislodged and goes who knows which way.
Yeah, yeah.
For
So yeah,
liability purposes, don't shoot the bow.
Don't shoot the bow with the third axis on there. Yeah, gotcha.
If you do, video it, but we're telling you not to.
100%. I have not
Careful, Blake
tested it.
Jerome and them might do it. So, I mean, they've been blowing up bows left and right over there here lately
Yeah.
just for fun. So,
No, I definitely need like as part of my testing for the new one, I definitely need to shoot the bow with it on. Maybe not me physically shoot it, but a shooting machine or something, just to see what happens, just in case.
just put a football helmet on or something. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
Some
I'll,
safety glasses or like
get the
squint
full face
really,
mask.
really, just squint really good. You know, won't get
It
anything
might
in your
come
eye.
down. We'll see.
Just be sure to video. Be sure to video that.
For science. Document the
Ex
process.
exactly, exactly.
How
Go,
about
no,
this?
go live on Facebook. Go live on Facebook and then do it.
No, it's got to be a slow motion video. That way you can see everything happen in
That's
just slow
cool.
motion.
Oh, that would be really cool. Yeah.
I did see that you had some of those videos, a couple of them on your channel. Do you have an actual slow motion camera?
Yeah, I bought a some type of Sony. I don't remember the exact name of it, the brand or model,
That's cool.
and it does up to 960 frames a second.
Wow.
So not super
That's
fast,
pretty
but fast. or
Yeah,
at
fast
least.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean
can
that.
watch the
I
arrow
mean, you can
spin in
still
those
catch.
videos.
Yeah, you can still catch a lot of movement and everything else with shooting. You said 960 frames.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
anything
pretty
in
awesome.
software for us to slow it down even more than what it does by itself.
Okay.
Granted, it gets kind of grainy, which makes sense. But
Yeah.
I was
How
just
like
gonna
how fast
say,
are you able to slow it down?
say that again.
Like how much can you slow it down additionally on top of that before it's too grainy?
Um, I think what it does standard, I think it says 48 times slower. So then, depending on what software you have, I mean, technically you can go frame by frame if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But or if you want it smooth, you can't really go too much slower, like maybe three-quarters of that 48 times, and then
Yeah.
it'll still have some smoothness to it. But
Yeah, but
the
kind of
frame by
starts
frame,
fuzzing up.
do you have to do anything crazy with lighting when you film with that? Do you have to make it really bright or anything in the room?
it's preferred, but like the videos I have at the range, those ones are just with the range lighting and it's not the brightest. So it does pretty decent as long as I get the focus correct.
Yeah, I mean, you can see great in those videos. I mean, you can watch the arrow turn, leave the bow, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and if I
It was
like
really
if I
fun.
had the lighting like I do here in this room that I'm in, then I think it'd be way easier to see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be brighter.
It's almost like I need to bring just like a spotlight and have it shine in certain spots to see it.
Yep. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yep.
Well, we
So when
talked a
did
little bit before. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jeremy.
no so we were talking earlier before filming and everything about your veins and all that. Did you have the slow motion camera during that time where you could see how the veins were working for you? Because I know you said that you tried multiple types. Did you have that slow motion camera to be able to check anything on there, or was that like kind of after?
I had it partially the way through, but I didn't test the veins based off of how they flew through the air
Hmm.
and how much they spun necessarily. It's just I did it based off of, or I tested the veins based off of how well they grouped with an untuned arrow,
Okay,
and whichever one seemed to stabilize and group the best with that arrow that wasn't tuned is kind of what I steered towards.
gotcha. And then you have all that wrote up in a very scientific manner on your Instagram, correct?
It should be on there, yeah.
Yeah.
As much studying as I feel like I could.
Well, I was reading through it and it's very thorough, easy to read. I mean, there's a lot of pretty interesting information in there for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to have like a wind tunnel set up, but try and get something that's like 200 miles an hour to test like the actual airspeed of what a Bane would experience through around a 300 feet a second bow is kind of difficult to get my hands on,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine.
or it would be
Yeah, no
expensive.
kidding.
Yeah.
But that would be something that would be awesome to test with the spin rates and the drag coefficients and that type of stuff.
Yeah. Now, you're shooting out, or you shoot outdoors as well, right? You don't just shoot indoor?
I used to do outdoors. The last
Okay.
couple years, I've only done redding, and I've
Okay.
kind of gotten tired of outdoors. It just the wind, the rain, it gets annoying to shoot in.
That's the fun
So
part.
no, I'd rather play disc golf. So that's what I do now is I play disc golf in the summertime, and I'll occasionally go shoot my bow inside or outside. But
Okay.
no, nothing competitive. I might still do redding. I don't know because it's not that far away from where I live. But
Lucky.
no, mostly indoor focused.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just curious if you'd, use those 3D printed veins outdoors any and seen, how things group outside or anything like that, because they are a much shorter vein, correct? I mean, they're not like a very long type of vein. Yeah, yeah, so very
That's
short.
only 1 inch in length,
Yeah. Man, that
and
is
just
that is
each,
cool.
each vein is 0.38 inches tall.
Okay.
So not even super tall. Not short, but not super tall.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do plan on doing some testing outdoors with them because I might sell them at some point. But of course, I still want further testing and seeing how they do.
Yeah. Have you ever like shot them into a group or anything? Like the one thing that I would worry about would be like one of them breaking or so I mean you have like I shoot fletch veins. I've had a couple of them tear, but I know that they still will fly good if I'm shooting into a group. Have you ever had one crack or anything? Like does it change the flight of it? Anything like that?
I personally haven't shot them into a group, but my dad, he's been testing them, and he's the only other one that has these veins. And he shot through them a couple of times, and he didn't have too much of an issue with grouping, but that was only at 20 yards. Nothing, we haven't done anything farther than 20.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very cool. I'm very interested to see if you do any like long range grouping with them. Just kind of, I mean, because for you probably know, I mean, especially if you've shot Redding before. Generally for outdoor stuff, you're shooting a much shorter, smaller vein because you're shooting a much smaller arrow, and
Right.
you don't get as much wind drift and all that kind of stuff. You don't really want a whole bunch of steering on the back like you would for like your indoor fatter shafts, heavier weights, all that kind of stuff. So being as short, like as short in length and as short as height as they are, I would imagine they would do, pretty well outside.
Yeah, they are very noisy, so that tells me that they have a lot of excess drag. So they're
Okay.
not, which I think, I mean, that technically that's partially what helps. And that's just telling me that the airfoil isn't efficient because that's the way they're designed is for an airfoil to cause spin.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I haven't put it through any fluid dynamic simulations to see how it actually looks. But I can almost guarantee you by the sound of it that there's a lot of drag. Like it, the airfoil is getting broken up on the back end, causing the
Yeah.
excess drag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Okay.
think that helps you though? At 20 yards, just getting the arrow to slow down, correct itself?
Oh, I think so. I
Does it
think
even?
that's the biggest part that helps is just having that excess drag on the backside.
Yeah, for sure. I've been telling people that for a while, like excess helical on veins or bigger veins, stuff like that for indoor. It seems like it's always helped me more. I haven't scientifically tested it other than just what my group said, but
Yeah,
it
that
always
was the
seemed like it helped.
thing. I don't know if because initially I was trying to like when I was testing veins, I was trying to get them to like spin as fast as I could, and the veins that I had that spun the fastest didn't group the best, at least with an arrow that wasn't tuned. Like, again, that was kind of the main thing is like to me, if you can get an arrow to fly really well that isn't tuned, then that is going to be a vein that can steer any as many inconsistencies as you can throw at it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
when I was testing the super fast spinning veins, like I went all the way down to a half inch long vein so I can put as much helical on it as I could with still clearing a blade. And those, I think I have video of those on slow motion, but those spun like easily 2 to 3 times faster than what my current veins do.
Right.
And they were very sporadic. So it's like, I don't think it's all about spin. I think you need a small amount of spin, but more so just somehow to create extra drag on the back end in addition to the small amount of spin.
Okay.
Interesting.
Without getting too far down the rabbit hole, how do you think feet per second of the arrow itself, does that have any play at all into spin rates or how you're building the vein now or anything like that?
I'm sure it does. Because I mean, the faster the arrow goes, the more air resistance it's going to have, which in turn means more drag. So
Right.
the faster the bow is, the less profile you need to create the same amount of drag as you would a smaller or a slower arrow.
Okay.
So if it's flying slower like my bow, like these vanes sound almost, but they're not quiet. But if I compare them to my dad's bow, which he has a white concept, and he's shooting almost 100 feet a second faster than I am, they is just it's almost sound like white noise to going downrange.
Okay. That makes
Mine just
sense.
has a very light white noise sound. His is a heavy white noise sound.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, speaking of bows, we can get into that some. We talked before, we started here. You told me you don't traditionally have normal traditional target bows that you've used in the past. And of course, now you're using a Genesis. So do you want to kind of walk us through where you came and what made you decide that you wanted to jump on this route of using a Genesis bow and trying to perfect some things with it?
Yeah, for sure. So I started with a hunting background, like a lot of target shooters have. And so I started with bows that were 32, 33-inch axle to axle. And I would just do the occasional 3D shoots. And then I finally got into target shooting and got an actual target bow and stuck with around the 38, 36-inch axle to axle bows for quite some time, probably up until even a couple years ago, it was still a 35-inch, which that just seems to be my comfort zone is 35, 36-inch axle to axle.
Okay.
But some of my best scores have been with shorter axle to axle bows in general, anyways, which this Genesis is 35 axle to axle. So it's not short, but it's also not long compared to some target bows.
Right.
But I've always been one to tinker and see how I can push things and shoot what's comfortable, what seems to shoot best. And what seems to shoot best may not be the best technically sound bow, like at least in terms of what people would describe as a target bow. And the brace
Right.
height and axle size, it's like it doesn't matter if those are long or like long axle, long brace height, if they don't work for you. I don't. It's like you have to find equipment that works with you, not against you. And that's something that one of my coaches has always said is like equipment should help you, not be fighting against you.
Yep. 100%. It's
Absolutely.
interesting. Is it like a string angle thing? Do you think you feel better with a shorter, quote unquote, axle to axle bow? Like, what do you think makes it feel better or work better for you?
I think it fits my shooting style and anchor point. I have a fairly high anchor point. Like sometimes even on more premium bows, I have a hard time even reaching 300 or not 100 yards because and I have a 20 almost 29 strong and that's 60 65 pounds with about a 400 grain arrow. I'm still
Jeez.
pushing the limits of 100 yards. So it's like, and most people can reach about 110, 120 with like my same setup with their peak height. So yeah, my peak height is just lower, limiting me on distances at times.
I can understand that. I know I've shot other people's bows and I have a shorter peep pipe compared to a lot of people. I don't know how high it is compared to yours. I do have a higher anchor point probably, but also think I just have a smaller head size than a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Big trucker hats and stuff look goofy on me. So it just, I think that probably plays into it too. But I also anchor with my index knuckle pretty much on the bottom outside edge of my jawbone. I just feel better there.
Yeah, mine kind of like my middle knuckle is
Hmm.
kind of like in the side of my cheek almost, like where your jaw pivots. That's
Hmm.
kind of where mine sits.
Okay. Just a little bit higher than mine probably, but I'm close to that. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
so it kind of just allows me to almost rest my hand on my face or my face on my hand while I'm
Yeah.
at full draw.
Nice. It's interesting. Like
It's
everybody
my
kind of has their own little quirks that they need that makes them shoot
yeah,
best.
Yeah,
yeah. And I mean, shoot, that the scores Adams put up, I mean, you can tell that it's working for him for sure. I mean, 100%.
yeah, no, and I've Frankenstein bows. I put limbs on bows that shouldn't be on certain bows and cams on bows that shouldn't be on certain bows. And a couple years ago, I went to Vegas with it was a Dart and Exodus that I put Dart and sequel cams onto, and then I preloaded the limbs down to it. Like the Exodus is a 36-inch bow. I preloaded it down to 35 just to try and get the poundage up because I was that sequel cam lowered the poundage big time, and that's what I shot in Vegas a couple years ago. And I tried putting sequel limbs on that bow, but the limbs were starting to crack while I was at full draw, so that was kind of sketchy. So
Yeah.
I don't do swapping limbs anymore, but maybe only cams.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that cracking as you're like coming to full draw can really make it pucker.
And when it's a high pitched dink, it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to experience that. I don't need to be shooting a bomb.
It's whenever you just let down real fast and just set it down and back away.
Yeah, I still shot it a couple times, and then I was like, I need to put this in a press and get the strings off of it.
Take the load off.
Yeah.
You're done.
Don't want to wait too long and then just have it explode once you put it in the press.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
suck.
whenever you're right there and it's shooting down at your legs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
it's
thank
super
you.
fun.
So when you
But
grabbed the Genesis, you were telling me that, ultimately it was partially because you weren't going to go to Vegas. So you were wanting to, you were like, hey, this is a good time for me to, grab this bow and start shooting it. Were you doing that just as a project, or was it something about form, shot execution, all the above, none of the above? Like what was kind of that driving force?
Most of it was I was kind of losing the desire to actually shoot archery, but I didn't want to necessarily get out of it. So I was kind of getting a little burnt out from just doing it for so long and feeling like I was doing the same thing again and again and again with nothing different. So, and because I was wanting to do the Genesis for the 3 to 5 years, it kind of gave me the reason to go ahead and just do it. And I knew that it was going to be something that was going to be fun and kind of give me joy back into shooting. And that's kind of the reason why I went ahead and did it. And now the reason why it's still about having fun. Like this is by far the most fun bow that I've ever shot. But now it's about like showing people that it doesn't cost that much to shoot good. Like you don't need the most expensive equipment to shoot quality, fantastic, great results. It's
Yeah.
like just shoot what you have and learn how to use it to your advantage and work on yourself.
there's many people that need to hear that. I mean, that exact thing right there, because everybody, I mean, you see it. As soon as a new bow comes on the market, everybody's pushing their old bow out and trying to buy the new bow, spending, nowadays $1,600 on the brand new bow, thinking that it's going to give them, another couple tens or, turn their 268 into a 300 or whatever. Um, but so you were talking about that you plan on shooting the Genesis for 3 to 5 years?
Mhm. I don't like. I had the idea for 3 to 5 years to want to shoot
Okay.
the Genesis.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah, like I'm not. I don't plan on shooting it for 3 to 5 additional years. Like this
Yeah.
might only be the only year that I shoot it, honestly.
Okay. So and I wasn't trying to like put it in a term that you're like, as soon as 3 years is up, you're going to be ditching it and getting something else and kind of trying that out. The reason why I was asking is I was just going to see like how long have you been shooting that bow? Has it only been a year now, or have you been working on it for a couple years?
No, it hasn't even been. I got it in. I got the first one, which is the black and green one you can find on my Instagram and Facebook, and I've got that one in January of this year.
Okay. So you're like almost at a year then.
Yeah, so I finished out the 2024-2025 indoor season with the Genesis. And because I wasn't going to Vegas, I just went to some local shoots with it and did honestly pretty well with it then. And it wasn't even set up the way I have it now because I have had more time into it.
Yeah. How were your like, so just out of curiosity, like how were the scores? Like how much have they progressed since you've picked up the Genesis and started actually like working on it and figuring out what works best for you?
So I can say it took about a month, almost a month before I shot my first Vegas 300 with it. And even during that time, it was around the 20x, like 298, 299, 20x mark, which honestly isn't that great for much. It's not bad in a general sense, but for where I'm used to shooting, that's not that great. And now I can average about, I mean, occasionally everybody gets 299, but I'll get, say, 299, 300, 24, 25Xs, more 300s than 299s.
Okay. And so what were you with the previous bow, the non-Genesis bow? Like what were your general scores then? Just kind of wanting to compare the two.
On average, my previous bows, I'm going to say for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been about the 23, 20, like well, 22 to 24x 300 range. So I feel like
Okay.
I'm a little above what I've been doing other bows with, honestly.
Yeah. And for like less than a third of the cost.
Yeah, like the fully set up bow that like everything that's bolted to the bow is about $700.
Wow.
And that's including the bow itself.
Yeah.
A lot less
That's,
than
I
three
mean,
to
that's,
five thousand.
yeah. But I mean, and I mean, money aside, I mean, everybody has their own companies that they like to shoot for. I shoot elite bows. I love elite bows. I don't ever really plan on getting out of an elite bow. But for somebody that's wanting to start off, and especially in times like now, that where, money could be a little tighter, things are more expensive. I mean, if you like, you can see the people at Vegas and be like, man, I want to shoot like that. Well, then you don't have to go and buy the 15,000 or $1,500 bow
Right.
and spend, 3 grand on all your equipment and everything just to go and shoot good scores. I mean, you're shooting just as well, if not, or and better than what you were shooting before with a regular compound bow with the Genesis. So I mean, that's impressive in and of itself. And I mean, that's just kind of a testament to, like you said, you don't have to have all the brand new equipment to be good or to do well.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I came from was I couldn't afford the expensive equipment. Like I scrounged up what I could to do the just to buy my first target bow. And then I just used hunting sites and that had lens adapters made for them. And I also made my own PVC stabilizers front and back and different back bar mounts. It was all made. That's how I kind of started the target archery side of it. And then it developed into buying more expensive stuff because I could, not necessarily because I had to. So this almost puts me back to my roots of how I began target archery to a somewhat of an extent for cost purposes, which is kind of enjoyable to go back to, I guess. That's the way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk me through your shot style. How are you executing a shot? What aspects of your form has anything changed from, the prior bows into the Genesis bow, like all that kind of stuff?
One thing to that question.
Go for it.
What type of release are you shooting as well?
So the type of release that I'm shooting is a hinge. I'll start there. And I do think this bow has, like initially my form was changing, like to be more recurve style, I guess. So it's more front shoulder or front arm in line with the shoulders. But lately, since I've been shooting a lot more, it's kind of gone back to standard compound form, where the power triangle is kind of a little off axis, I guess you could say. And since doing that, it's kind of helped again just pretty much falling back to my old form style. And but it's still I'm holding more like about 3 pounds more on the back end than what I was any previous target bows that I would do. I would previously do 15 pounds. Now I'm at 18 pounds. And so that's actually kind of, I think, still strengthened up the form, made it stronger, made it easier to shoot, and potentially even made the bow hold easier.
So you said you're
But,
holding 18 pounds?
yep.
Okay, we'll have to get into that in just a little bit. Continue.
So, like, the shot style, I've always had what I would consider a very good aim. And I think that's helped me throughout my target life so far. And my main thing that I've struggled with is the execution. So I kind of had a realization today that everything that I've been adjusting on my bow has been to help with aiming, even though that's my strongest aspect. And I'm like, I need to work on my execution because my execution process is, I don't have any mantras or any songs that I really say in my head that other people do. I more so I don't think about words. I think about feelings. What do my think like pressures? What do I feel in my bow hand? What do I feel in my release hand? And on the release hand, since I shoot a hinge, I try and transfer the load from, let me grab my hinge. So I'll transfer the load from the index finger over to my middle finger and ring finger. And as I'm at full draw, I don't actually know if I squeeze or if I just relax because I don't focus on that. I focus on just the pressures increasing on these two fingers. And then the shot ultimately fires. So I still need to work on that better to have something more consistent under pressure. But that's kind of my shot process, I guess.
You pull through, or do you just kind of hold and try to maintain that hold at full draw?
That's one of my also inconsistent parts. But
Yeah.
generally, I try and keep a steady active pressure on the back end.
Gotcha. Okay. I know you
So
had the question, Jeremy. So with the 18
yes,
pound
yeah,
holding, go for it.
I'm dying. I'm dying over here. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that Genesis bow is only 40 pounds, right?
That is correct.
How and like, okay, I mean, I know like I built my own strings. I've done the string stop thing. How in the world are you getting like, what is that?
Like
40
55% let
pounds
off.
or 40%? Yeah, like 55% let off on that bow. Like how are you doing that? Like is that
Well,
like
that's
a
just the cam.
combination of
That's what they
that's
have on
just
their
the
cam.
stops?
Is
Oh,
the cam and what you would technically call the module
mhm.
is all machined into one piece. So there's no rotating mods. The only thing you can do is change the draw stop position. And with this cam, it has what would be considered a progressive let off system. So the farther back you pull it, the more let off you get. So if I go
Okay.
to a shorter draw length, I'll get more holding weight. If I go to a longer draw length, I'll get less holding weight. And it's not like drastic amounts. Say if I increase my draw length about quarter half inch, I will drop in holding weight by quarter half pound, I think. I haven't actually measured it, but that's kind of what it feels like. And then same when I go the opposite way, when I go shorter, it increases about that same amount.
So whenever you're making it shorter, like you're actually having to move your stops forward to, because I haven't seen the actual stops that you've made for the Genesis, so I would like to see those because I do have so many questions. Okay, so it's just like it's almost like an old style Hoyt stop, basically,
Yeah, so
just that kind
it's
of
pretty
rounded.
big.
So have you like do you make like different
That's
sizes for
what
that
that
then?
big top.
Okay.
And then my stop just slides right on top of it.
Yeah. So you could potentially make different size stops for there to change like holding weight and that kind of deal, like basically micro adjust holding weight and everything while changing your draw length.
Yeah, I don't look at it as changing holding weight, even though it does. It's more so I focus more on draw length than holding weight because I
Okay.
feel like that's more critical. Well, especially since I can't change one without changing the other like you can on other bows. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I have what I got to work with what I have, which is kind of what's kind of enjoyable about this bow is there's not very much things to adjust, and that's I think better for myself. I like to adjust a lot, so simplifying the equipment I think is actually beneficial to my shot style and tinkering habits that I have.
What's really funny is that you've taken like uh a non-tinkering bow because there's only so much you can do with it, and then made it a tinkering bow where you've changed this and added this and made this for it and everything. Like it's really interesting. But I do really find it quite, I mean, I've only drawn back a few Genesis bows, to be completely honest. Like I helped out with some like summer camp deals at Alvarado Archery, a shop that me and Robert frequent often. And I helped out over there, and we were just messing around, shooting some Genesis bows, trying to hit like an apple in the mouth of a pig or whatever, just little things like that. So those were a much different Genesis bow than what you have. They didn't have like draw stops on them. It was just kind of like the little flat end on there, and so you just kind of rotate them onto that flat end, and then whenever you draw it back and you just kind of hit that flat end, that's where, you could keep drawing it back if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Um, so having like so you only have the one draw stop on the bottom. Would it would you still be like have that kind of spongy feel on the back wall then? Like I'm assuming it's not very like a rock solid back wall.
Being actually because it's a single cam bow, it actually does, and it's limb stop. It actually is a very solid wall. When
Really?
I pull harder into the wall, all I'm doing is twisting the limbs.
Oh, okay.
So it's only as soft as I make my draw stops because they're out of a
Yeah.
flexible material. So I can change the consistency of that depending on how I print it.
Interesting. Have you tested any of that? Like have you tried softer walls versus harder walls or anything for you?
On other bows, yes, but not this. This bow here, that the stop that I showed you actually is a softer material than what I've been shooting. It's not
Hmm.
significantly softer, but it is a hair softer. And I do feel like it absorbs some of the micro vibrations that I get. Like when you're at full draw, if your hand shakes back here, if you have a super hard wall, you're going to see it in your scope.
Yeah.
And but if you go super soft, then if you try and use the back end to pull the bow up on target, it's not going to go anywhere because you just squish. So it's
Yeah.
finding that balance and the draw stop to almost act as a shock absorber, a dampener, I guess, to eliminate and reduce some of the micro vibration in your scope.
Interesting. Okay. I mean it makes sense. I completely understand, where you're kind of going at, where you're coming from with that whole concept. That's definitely one way to kind of get rid of those little tremors. Whenever you get in those kind of nerve situations, I've seen it. Like, I mean, everybody else has probably seen it. Whenever you get under those little bit of nerves, your pin looks like it's moving a little bit more. Well, it probably is because your hand's shaking a little bit back here or whatever it is. So, I mean, just kind of getting rid of those tremors is, would be, and I mean, that's kind of like what those SOS systems are. I mean, it basically is supposed to try to get rid of that micro vibration throughout the bow.
Yeah, I'd be kind of
You're
curious to
on.
put one of the SOS systems on your release arm to see what that does with the vibration instead of having it on your bow.
Yeah, like similar to like if um oh gosh, what is his name? The 3D archer guy, Jack Wallace. If
Yeah,
Jack Wallace took his little wristband thing that he made with the weight on it and put one of those, you know, baking whisks on top and see how that kind of worked. If that, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. I mean, you can
yeah,
screw things onto those, and you can screw things onto those. I mean, they're screwing weights onto them, so I mean, you could technically, maybe that's an idea. You could technically take one of those wrist deals. If you're wanting to spend $500 real quick,
Yeah.
buy the $300 wrist deal and then buy the SOS system for $200. Take it off that mount that goes on the bow and screw it onto that thing on your hand and let me know how it works. 'Cause I like tinkering just as much as anybody else, so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see it if someone does it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
So
think you could go
you're
on the top with it though. You'd have to go like you'd have to have it
at
hanging
below.
down because it would be like stabbing you in the face.
Yeah.
Oh
You
gosh, catch
probably
one
get
of
more of a
those.
benefit on the bottom anyways.
Yeah, Robert, could you imagine catching one of your beard hairs in that those fiber or the steel wire, you know? Like I already
Yeah.
catch it in my release enough whenever I'm pulling through, but man, I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine like like pull one of those hairs out. Oh, that'd be
Yep.
rough.
All right, Adam, you use dual string stops. Do
That is correct.
you I've read a little bit about this on your page why you're using a couple of them, but can you elaborate on that? Why at all and why both of them? And maybe show them.
Yeah. So I mean, I started with no string stops on the bow. That's how I shot the very first Genesis that I had. And then when I switched to this pink one that I have, I was adjusting my draw length to make it actually fit better than the black one was. I was starting to smack my arm with how much string oscillation this bow has because the string tension is not very much compared to the more premium bow. And I got tired of having to wear an arm guard. So I was like, okay, easiest way to do that is put a string stop on. And so I would put um, just well, I put one string stop on the bottom, and I actually had it angled so it was coming up closer to the D loop to try and remove any type of kicking that it may have. And that didn't seem to do anything. I shot it through paper after I shot it with nothing, and with no string stops, I was shooting a bolt hole. When I put the string stop on, I was at least on the bottom. It threw my nock low by 3/8 of an inch, quarter inch or so. And I was like, that's not good. So then I made a bracket to do the same thing on the top, but to go straight, like the one I currently have here. And then without the bottom one, I was curious on how it would react. I was like, okay, if the bottom one went low, is this one going to go high? And I shot it through paper, and sure enough, it went high like I expected. So then it became let's do the double that I have here and see how that reacts. And I shot it through paper and it shot a bullet hole just like it did without the string stops. And yet I didn't. Now I don't have to worry about hitting my arm because the string stops exist. So that's kind of some of the testing that I did with those. And
Did you, so are those evenly spaced? If you looked at like pulling point of the D loop, is the top one the same distance from midpoint of the bow as the bottom one, or does it even matter?
it probably does matter, but in my case, they are not even. Like
Right.
just looking at it from my view, the top one is actually closer than the bottom one. Like if I try and get from thumb to pinky is about there. So it's about half inch.
Inch.
The top of that half inch closer,
Yeah.
which actually probably works out because you have the peep sight weight. And with the peep sight, the extra weight's going to throw the top forward farther. So having the top stop closer to the peep sight and more string length at the bottom, that kind of probably balances itself out partially.
It's shooting a bullet hole like it was before. So, I mean, it, it looked like it did. Yeah. So you 3D printed the, well, did you 3D the orange parts on there? Is that 3D printed?
No,
It's just rubber.
the string stops are actual just purchased standard string
Okay.
stops.
Okay. You just did the bracket.
Yeah, the bracket here is 3D printed. And same with the bottom one, just a different color.
Nice. All right. And okay, so I'm gonna have two questions on this. Do you know your mass weight of your bow?
I just waited, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I want to say it was right about 7.5 pounds.
Okay.
So it's not heavy by any means, but this bow is similar, like the riser weight is similar to that of a carbon bow.
Yeah. Uh,
So I kind of got used to a lighter system overall, which I've never really shot a heavy bow in the past. One of my best shooting bows, which was a PSE Perform X 3D, was I think 8.2 pounds overall once I had it set up.
yeah.
And there's people out there running 9+ pounds. And like, I don't know how you lift that thing up.
Jeremy's bow is like, I don't know, 30 pounds or whatever it is.
Not
He's racing
30, it's like
Slowshire to have the heaviest
29.
bow.
No, I've taken a lot of weight off, man. I've taken a lot of weight off there.
I actually
So
added on to mine. I weighed mine the other day. It was 9.55 pounds. I've been adding on, and that's the heaviest bow I've ever had, actually.
I'm not gonna lie, I
Yeah.
haven't weighed mine in a while, but I definitely, I mean, I got 30-inch bar up front, 15 on the back. I got 18 ounces on the front, 18 ounces on the back. So it's I think it's like 10 pounds, 11 pounds, something like that. Somewhere around
That's
there, 10 or 11. But
So, Adam, you've got a dual mount on the back bar. You have it where it's split off with the weights on there.
I
Did
was gonna ask that.
you? Yeah, talk me through the reasoning behind that. It looks really cool.
I'm assuming
Talk
it's
me
a
through
shortened
that.
down.
So the main idea behind it was I'm used to tungsten weights. So I'm already used to the weight being cut in half approximately. And being that I was wanting to go budget, I couldn't shoot tungsten weights because they're not cheap.
No.
And so I went ahead and just got some black washers. So they're just black steel washers that are slid over a stud. And then these back pieces are just stainless, or not stainless, but steel knobs that are threaded. And they're just threaded onto the set screw stud that I have inside it. But the split weight is to reduce the overall stack height to be equal to what I was used to with tungsten.
Nice. Yeah.
But aside from that was I rest the backside of the stabilizer on my hip while at rest. So having the extra wide surface area actually is very comfortable on the hip. Like I don't have a bruise on my hip anymore because of it.
Yeah. Spread the weight out more.
Yeah, and I do it both on the front and the back.
So I
Yeah.
have two questions real quick. Sorry, go ahead, Robert. I'll ask them
No,
in just a second.
you go.
So so those washers, like I'm assuming you've weighed them. Like how much weight would you say in ounces that you have on the back?
On the back, I have, including the knobs, 20 ounces. So each washer that I have is a half ounce. So it's nice.
Okay.
I can count up one side, and that's how many ounces I have because I have a double up and even all the way across it.
Okay. So
And
you're
then
so
each
you're running
knob,
about 20 ounces.
yeah.
Okay. So what is the split, like I'm just gonna refer to it as a splitter. I don't know if you have a technical name for it or anything, but the part that you have that splits the two weights up. Yeah, that one. Is that 3D printed or is that aluminum? Like, do you have somebody build that? What
No,
is that?
this is pretty printed also, and it
Really?
has, yep. And then if I can get the camera to see it, there's just
Oh, okay.
a nut pressed into the bottom of it.
Yeah. And you don't
So
have any problem with it, like, I mean, it's not too much weight, like it's not trying to support too much weight or anything from being
I don't
just,
know, this can
3D printed material.
handle a huge amount of weight. Like
Really?
I think that's one thing that people underestimate with 3D printing is how much weight it's actually capable of printing or holding, depending on the material that you use. And this
Yeah.
isn't like this is PETG. All my stuff that I make is PETG, and that's just a general. It's nothing fancy in 3D printing realm, and it's pretty darn durable, especially when you have it like these mounts are about half, 3/4 of an inch thick, or so 3/4 of an inch, and they're almost printed solid because of wanting to make sure that it didn't break at
Okay.
an important time.
Yeah.
Like these adapter pieces on the backside, I have those just as lightweight as I can because they're just decorative. It's just transition from the knob diameter down to the walking diameter without just a step.
Yeah. Just make it
Nice.
look a little prettier. Which it looks good. I mean, you've done a great job on those. So I'm guessing you did more like a honeycomb type fill on the inside of those fillers on the back, and then just did the solid piece on that splitter then.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. Huh.
So 20 ounces on the back. What's on the front?
10 ounces.
Okay.
10 ounces?
Yep.
Okay.
It's offset though, right? On the front? Is it, are the two weights sitting like this or do they sit like this?
So all the weights sit flat, sit horizontal.
They do. Okay.
Yeah.
How long are the bars?
The front bar without the extension, so without the disconnect and the little just extension here, is 26 inches, so approximately 28 inches with these guys.
Okay.
And then my back bar is a 15-inch rod.
I did have one question too. Because I imagine somebody's going to ask, what model of Genesis bow is that?
That's the Genesis Gen X.
Genesis Gen X. Okay.
Is that what your black one was as well, or was it a different model?
No, it was also the Genesis Gen X.
Okay.
That one's the only model that has the draw stop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the standard Genesis does not have a draw stop unless you make one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the standard Genesis only goes up to 20 or 25 pounds peak weight. And I was wanting the extra weight just to increase the speed where I could.
Yeah. So the arrows didn't arc quite as bad.
Yeah,
A little bit more efficient.
these are pretty darn high. Like people behind me have watched it and they're like, I feel like you're going to miss the target in mid-flight when the arrow is flying. So it's like I don't see it because I'm behind the bow. I can only hear it. And it's like with the way I've described it to people is I get to see the impact twice. Once when I shoot the shot where my pin mast was, and then once the arrow actually hits.
So somebody
crazy.
could run down to the target and back before the arrow hits, or
What it feels like sometimes. Like I think I'm only shooting around 170 feet a second.
golly. I know
How
some
heavy
people
is the arrow?
I'm not sure, but it's a Victory 27, which is 11 grains an inch, cut about 28 inches long with a 250 grain point.
Okay.
So
You're
it's
probably
got to be
looking at
around
like the 400.
550.
Yeah. I was going to say like the 450 range.
Yeah.
Huh.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that'd be like, they always show in like the movies and stuff, like in sports, like the quarterback that's throwing the last pass to win the game, and it's just slow motion. That's just what his arrows look like all the time as they're traveling down to the target.
Yeah, that would be, that's almost what this feels like sometimes.
That's pretty cool though. It adds that dramatic effect.
I think it does for people watching
Yeah.
because of like, again, they have the different perspective than I do. And they get to see the full arc from the bow to the target. And they just say it's so cool to watch it just when I break a good shot, just watch it go up and then right into the middle. It's like that would be cool to see.
That is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
no kidding.
You got to set up that slow motion camera back behind you next time so you can see that art just really kind of getting there. But
I know
so I have another. Oh, sorry. What?
so like if I go from 20 yards to 30 yards without moving my sight, I believe I drop about 3 feet.
Holy
Golly.
cow.
That's an entire target.
That's a target and a half.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Wow. That you do not want to miss set your sight with that bow. I would love to see you shoot it at Bigfoot. That would be impressive.
I
aim
did
about
try setting up some
15 to
small.
20 feet above his head, have your
Yeah,
sight all the way down.
I did try setting up some small arrows for outdoors with it, with the green one, and it was like a 250 grain arrow, and I can aim on out to 70.
Really?
Yep.
That's, I didn't think it would get that far. I mean, that's with your sight all the way down and all that. I mean,
Correct.
and
Yep.
I don't mean that in like a bad way, but I mean, 40 pounds and shooting 70 yards. I mean, that's a pretty good distance. I mean, I know there's, kids or whatever that shoot, lower poundage bows and everything for, NFA field, all that kind of stuff. And so I know they can reach out there, but like, 40 pounds and I mean, yeah, the arrow's a lot lighter being 250. I mean, it would be impressive to see that. I mean, you would definitely get some arc on
Be
that
cool.
thing.
Yeah. It didn't shoot. It didn't hurt very good, but also didn't spend the time to shoot it like I did now. If I spend
Yeah.
the time to shoot it, I might have more success with it shooting consistent, but it wasn't with the amount of time that I put into it.
So I'm not going to see you at Reading with the Genesis bow then?
Most likely not,
Uh,
unless I
man,
get a wild hair and decide to go ahead and do it.
just do it. You know what you should do? You should run the double peep thing where you have one peep down low where your normal one is and one peep up a little higher so you can get that 100 yarder. That'd be cool.
Don't give me too many ideas.
Oh man, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm all about the ideas because I'm definitely going to Reading and that's by far my favorite tournament. Like absolutely love Reading and so I do not want to miss it at all. So if you go, I'll see you there.
Yeah, maybe I'll just take two bows, one for long distance, one for short distance.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. You can just, carry it in a backpack. I mean, that thing's light enough. You can just stick
Yeah,
it in your backpack and, go like that. There's, I mean,
it needs that.
the average distance at Reading's only like 36 yards. So, I mean, you could get that. You can get that
Yeah,
easy.
yeah,
Aiming up and downhill for you would be really nice because you're not holding up a whole bunch of weight.
that is true. You're giving me way too many.
I'm a dude, I'll tell you, I am a terrible influence, but the one thing that I hope to influence you on is I hope you go to Reading.
I will tell.
So I
How
have
many?
a real quick.
Go for it.
Well, you go ahead. Actually, you go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask, how many of the targets behind you have you shot with that Genesis bow? Is it all of them?
Yeah, I went ahead and hung everything up behind me. That's like the,
Okay.
I have
See the
three techs up there that
Yep.
are with
nice.
and
I see the
and
29X over there.
yeah, I have my first 300 down over there, and then two of my 28Xs and my 29X.
Nice.
And I was going to hang up my 60X5 spot, but it didn't look very even, so I just left it off.
Didn't have the symmetry.
It, that's all right. It's 5 spot.
Which I actually shot the
But
60X5 spot before I shot my first 300, which is kind of frustrating.
nice.
It
Gosh,
happens.
I hate blue face 5 spot so much. Oh, so much. Uh, but no, so I had a quick question for you, man. And I've been like so we've known about like having this podcast with you for about a week now, something like that. And I've been trying to figure out how to phrase this question where I don't come off sounding like a jerk or anything like that. Cause and not to you, not to you, to other people that you were competing against. Cause I by no mean any sort of anything bad towards anybody else, professional or unprofessional or professional or amateur shooters, anything like that. So the question that I have is, how
There's not
was
a good
it?
way to ask this. You
Yeah,
and
dude,
I went through the
it
rough
really,
drafts. There's just not a good way.
yeah. So just, I'll put it this way. How was it competing in Bend against like Paige Pierce being one of the, being in that number two slot at the end of it? Like, how was it competing against her with it? Like you're shooting I mean, we know that you shoot the bow well, but it's a Genesis. Like, how was it shooting against Paige with the Genesis?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't. It didn't feel any different than any other places that I've shot at with any other people.
Okay.
It's like with me shooting this bow, I know people are going to look at it, especially with the colors that I chose out of this bow.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
like it's
flashy.
kind of hard to miss. But that was honestly kind of the point of it, also. And so I feel like I feel the same pressure almost no matter what. I did feel more pressure on Sunday just because of scores, not
Hmm.
necessarily because of who I was shooting against.
Yeah, it's because they were so close and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I've with other bows that I've shot against people like Kyle Douglas and other guys. Like, I don't necessarily shoot the same scores as them, but I've shot next to them and shot similar scores that day that they did. And
Yeah.
so it's like I've kind of gotten used to that aspect of it.
Hmm.
It's not so much about who I'm shooting against or with. It's truly just what do you tell yourself and how do you get yourself to be calm. It's more so scores influence my mental pressure than more than people do.
Yeah. And I didn't mean that in any sort of like bad way. Like, did you almost poop your pants shooting against Paige or anything, anything along those lines? It's more of like just, I saw how close the scores were because she, after the first day, she was sitting in first and you were in second and you were like not far behind, correct? If I remember.
I would say I was far behind because it was five
Okay.
points.
Okay. So you
And
were 5 points behind her. Okay.
granted, it was Lancaster style, so that does
Hmm.
help.
Yeah. Yeah. That
And
helps a lot.
she, like, being that this was technically her first tournament and she just took 8 weeks off, I think is what she said,
Yeah.
before going into this tournament. She wasn't in shooting shape. Like, so she knew she wasn't going to shoot the scores that she knows she can shoot.
Hmm. Especially
And
on the second day after you've already shot, you know,
yeah,
how, I mean, 2 rounds or whatever. I mean, 60 arrows or anything after coming off of a break like that, especially with the weight and stuff that she shoots on her bow. I
yeah,
could definitely imagine that the second day would definitely be tough.
yeah. So she shot consistently both days, at least score wise. And my first day was below what I would say my average was with this bow.
Hmm.
And then coming into Sunday, I kind of told myself beforehand that I have to give it absolutely everything I got, mentally and physically, and focus pretty much almost harder than I've ever focused before if I wanted to have a chance.
Yeah.
Because I knew that she wasn't going to just slack off. That's the hard part about shooting with more the true professionals is they don't have the ups and downs like amateurs do.
Hmm.
And so it's like I have to shoot equal to or better than my average and hope that she shoots consistent to what she did the
Yeah.
first day. And that's kind of the way it played out was I shot equal to or better than what I typically do with on average. And she shot pretty much the same score as she did the first day. So
Yeah.
it worked out in the end in that way. But yeah, it was a lot of focus to and also nerves at the end because I knew
Oh, I
what I
bet.
had to do to
Yeah.
like finish out the game.
Did y'all have like, was it, so I'm not 100% on how the setup was. So I know you said it was like a Lancaster style. Did they have like multiple line times? Like, so she shot on a different line than you did that day, or do they pair everybody up like a group pairing type thing? Like, the first few people in the first flight are here and all that kind.
Yeah, so it was only Lancaster style in the form of X's were 11s. Everything else was
Mm,
different.
okay.
The They had 2 line times each day. One was in the morning, one was at noon, roughly. And being that I had to travel there on Saturday, I picked a later line so I could travel the same day. And the next day, I picked the later line time because I knew I was going to have to wait for awards if I did well anyway. So I was like, might as well just shoot later, have a nice breakfast in the morning. And so that's kind of the way it was set up. And we happened to, the first day they set us up, so we shot essentially on the same bill. And then we scored first and second after the first day. And then so that set us up again to shoot next to each other on the same bill because she also chose the later line time.
That's pretty cool. And so whenever it comes to like the mental side, I don't know if Robert was going to ask anything about this. He probably was, but I'm going to steal it from him. When it comes to the mental side, do you work on the mental game part of your shot? Like, and I don't mean like I know you said you don't do the mantra or singing a song or anything like that. You focus on the pressures and everything. But do you, like, whenever you're practicing, do you focus on those things as well, or do you just kind of stand up there and essentially like blank bell? Like, how do you go through that?
A lot of it, I like in practice. I again, as I kind of had an epiphany today while at work, kind of what I adjust and which tells me what I focus on is I focus a lot on the aim and the pressure, and then when I'm under pressure in a tournament, we'll describe it that way because I still essentially practice in a tournament
Hmm.
because you're not going to feel the same pressure. So, and as in practice. So when I get into heavy pressure, I do talk to myself before I draw the bow back and tell myself what I'm going to do and what I need to do. And then once I get drawn back, it goes back to focusing on the pressures like I described before. I
Okay.
don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that totally answers my question. So you basically try to emulate exactly what you're doing in a pressure situation or in a tournament that you do in practice. So you basically try to do the exact same. You don't change anything up. You keep it the exact same all the way across.
That's the attempt, yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you learn that from a coach? I know you said that you have a coach.
Yeah, it's Ron Gaines. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's been in the industry for quite some time,
Okay.
mostly over in this area. And like I started with him pretty essentially when I got into target archery, and he helped me learn how to shoot a hinge. And one of the things he has almost always taught, and his phrases is drag those bricks. And so it kind of is the phrase of staying on the back end and just like you have a wall of bricks, and it's like just drag those bricks towards you, like pull back and just stay with it until a shot ultimately breaks, or until his was more so until the string breaks in between.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of where a lot of that has developed from is his style of trying to describe how to shoot the shot.
I focus very similar as far as shot execution goes. It's pulling into it until it goes, or you have to stop, one or the other.
Yeah. Until your eyes go black and run out of breath. And
Right. Yeah. I actually, Steve Anderson said something one time in an interview when he was talking about his shot, and he was saying that he tries to pull a string in a straight line from the middle of the target through his release, and that's what he's focusing on, is trying to keep pressure on that string and pull it out of the target. And that's clicked with me for whatever reason back then. I was like, all right, that makes sense.
yeah, which actually Steve Anderson trained with Ron Gaines also
Yeah.
because Steve was up here in Caldwell.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Do you do anything? What's your practice like? Do you do any, like, do you focus on drills? Do you focus on just shooting scores? Do you do multiple things? Do you work on testing different stuff? Like, what do you like to do there?
At the beginning of the season, I started with a lot of scoring just to kind of do something different because I don't usually do scoring a lot. I usually do a lot of blank bell and then what Ron calls as blank target blank. So it's blank bell, shoot at target, blank bell, trying to get the shots feeling good, the execution feeling good on target as it is off target. And then also just having a target face up and essentially trying to blank bell on a target. So that way you have the background, but you're not worried too much about what your aim is doing. You're focusing on just the shot style or the shot execution. And lately, that's kind of what I've defaulted back towards is less scoring and more just shot execution process, because that's what I struggle with the most right now.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to be heavy on that these next couple weeks before the next tournament. And that's that's it for the most part. I do scoring during leagues, which is once a week, and then just at tournaments.
What tournament do you have coming up next?
I have it's about 2.5 hours away, and it's what they call the resolution shoot. It's on January 1st, New Year's, and it's just I think it's standard Vegas round with potentially a shoot up. I don't know the full details, but then 2 days later, the first weekend in January, is the Idaho State Vegas competition. So I'll be shooting that one.
You mentioned averages earlier when you were talking about, on day two of the tournament recently, you knew that day two you had to shoot at least your average or better. When you're talking about that, is that averages you shoot in practice? Is it averages that you track and know you can shoot in a tournament? Does it differ? Like what are you looking at there?
It's kind of my overall, like
Okay.
included tournaments. Lately, there's only been a couple tournaments that I would say that I shot above my average at. Otherwise, I've shot honestly a hair below my average. Besides the first two tournaments, I guess the first one I shot for qualification, I shot my average. The next tournament, I shot well below my average. Like I felt like I just forgot how to shoot everything. And then it's kind of started to level back out to be close to my average of what I do in practice also. But it used to be my practice scores weren't always lower than my tournament scores, which I've only heard a few people say that. And it's hard to build confidence when it's that way, but it's kind of a good aspect to have, I guess.
Was it like a focus thing?
It most likely was a focus thing, yeah.
Yeah. Like that adrenaline, the extra focus that you get from the adrenaline being at the target, just kind of sharper.
Yep.
Well, what is next for like what goals do you have next? Like what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to work on, create? Like what do you think you want to do from here?
Already.
Um, well, with this though, I want to, of course, finish off the indoor season, and I I have time off scheduled for Lancaster, but I haven't paid for it. I plan on going to it. I just need to sign up, and that
Gonna
one
get to
I'm going
watch
to
you on YouTube then. That'll be
that
fun.
that is that is 100% the goal. I'm going to shoot the amateur class. People are
You
going to give
definitely,
me
I
crap
mean,
about it, but I'm going to shoot the
dude,
amateur class. But it's even a tough class as it is.
Yeah.
it is a very, very tough class, but I mean, you definitely have the skill to be able to get in there, and to make it at least make it past the qualifiers. I mean, once you make it past the
You can
qualifiers,
make
I
the
mean,
cut.
it's kind of anybody's game on the match play stuff. But man, that would be so cool to have you
So
up there on the stage and and shooting in front of all of those people and on YouTube and all that stuff, not trying to get in your head, anything like that. But I mean
no, but
that
that's
that would be pretty awesome.
yeah, that's something that would be phenomenal to do, and I have a lot of want to do it, and I know I have the ability to do it. And I was like, I honestly don't even care how I do once I get up there. I just want to get up there.
Just the experience
And
of it all is gonna be so cool.
yeah. And then Vegas, I'm shooting the championship in Vegas.
Oh, nice.
And again, the goal of that one is just make it through the shoot off. And if I make it there, then I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that makes it past, like once you make it to the shoot off, it's anybody's game. It's whoever has a good day. I mean, skill does come into play, but it's ultimately at the very, very, very end. It's like skill plus luck.
Yeah. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
because I
has to
mean
fall
it's
into place.
yeah, well, I mean with Vegas, I mean everybody knows you're shooting three. You have 3 days that you're shooting. You have to shoot all 300s in
Yep.
all 3 days. Where you have to string those 3 days together where, you're shooting very well throughout those 3 days. I mean, that can be tough in and of itself. But whenever like Lancaster, I mean, you go and you shoot one day, you could shoot really, really well and then shoot, mediocre the next day and still make it into the shoot offs and everything. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's not completely improbable. So, I mean, you can kind of have a little bit worse luck on the second day and still make it to the finals, versus, at Vegas where if you miss one and that's it.
Right. But
Have you
no,
been to Lancaster? Oh, sorry.
I have confidence, and just because of how much I've been shooting the bow, that it's the I know I can do it.
Hmm.
It's the matter of what is the day going to bring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like anybody at the top level is going to essentially say the same thing. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have faith in you. I'm over here rooting for you, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Have
like
you?
before we did this, Adam was saying he'd never really done a podcast or anything like this, and he's done one right, like this week, right before this one, and I feel like you're gonna start doing a lot more of these. So just keep building up that wall behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you make like the shoot off at Vegas or,
Yeah,
Lancaster or anything like that. I mean, with how you've been shooting here lately, for sure, there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be knowing,
yeah,
who Adam George is, and, he's the Genesis guy, and I mean, you're going to have some nicknames and stuff like that where,
yeah.
like Roland Deason, right, is
That big guy.
the bow ninja,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, people have, yeah, people have the like fun nicknames and stuff. I mean, there's probably going to be one for, you know the
The
George's Genesis
CEO.
or something. Yeah, CEO, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it
Yeah.
it would be. Have you been to Lancaster before? Like, have you
I
shot
have
that
no,
tournament? Oh,
no.
dude, it's fun. It's fun. It's a it's they have it in like a they have it in like a sports center type thing. So it's the Spooky Nook Center is this massive building. They have like a couple rock walls in there. They have like all these basketball courts and volleyball courts and like a gym, like a CrossFit gym and a regular gym and like the baseball fields and the one that you actually shoot on is like an indoor hockey rink,
Oh,
and
that's
and
cool.
that's where you're yeah, that's where you're shooting the matches at, or not the matches and the qualification day. And then
Okay,
like their practice range is on like baseball and softball indoor practice ranges, so they
interesting.
just kind of put you in there like sideways. And I will say the practice ranges get pretty swamped. I mean, they get very, very swamped. But as far as the actual tournament goes, it's a very fun tournament to go to. And I mean, I didn't make my trip turned into a 1 day shoot, because I did not make the qualifications in the Open Pro class. I was not super far behind, but it was still really fun going and watching the shoot downs and everything. And make sure, like, while you're there, go watch the barebow shoot down. It is wild inside that building. I mean, people are going crazy whenever those guys are shooting.
That's not surprising. We have quite a few barebow guys that shoot locally, and if you watch barebow, then you probably know of Chip Heffelfinger. Like he won
Uh-huh.
Vegas a couple years ago. He shoots
Yeah.
here locally, so I see
Okay.
him shoot all the time, and it's phenomenal to see those guys shoot.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it is wild watching them. Like whenever they hit the X though, I mean, the whole crowd just erupts. Everybody has those little balloon things that you beat together that make a lot of noise.
Yeah,
Everybody's hooping and hollering and everything. I mean, it was a spectacle, man. I mean, it was really cool to see. So I would highly recommend, if you make it out there to do that like before you go, up
yeah,
on stage and shoot.
no, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it's
Adam,
it's
thanks
kind
for
of
coming on and go ahead.
Lancaster is on the other side of the state, so or the country I'm in. So it's kind of a
Yeah.
long trip.
That is
Yeah,
a that
that's
is a
right.
long haul for y'all for sure. And then like, do you get much snow where you're at?
Sometimes,
Little
sometimes
little bit.
no.
So whenever I went to Lancaster this year, it was pretty snowy. The roads were great, so don't worry about that. But it was definitely snowy over there.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Because there's not another blizzard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully not.
Yeah. Well, Adam, thanks for coming on and doing this with us, talking to us, showing the bow off and all that. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I appreciate you the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna link
Anytime.
your social media and different things, throughout, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube or all that. But is there anything specific that you kind of keep up on the most? Like where's the easiest to follow you that you stay up with the most?
Instagram and Facebook is what I mostly am on, and I don't have a YouTube where I don't really do much for archery on YouTube.
Yeah,
But
How can
Instagram
people
and
get a hold of
Facebook.
you to buy a grip?
what was that?
How can people get a hold of you to buy a grip or anything from the George's Gizmos?
So I have the website georgesgizmo.com, and also I have Instagram and Facebook page, also George's Gizmos. And if I don't have a grip online, it's possible I might just not have posted up on my website yet. So they can shoot me a message on the Facebook or Instagram account, and then we can see if we can have it, and they can order it through messaging also.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome, man. Again, thank you again for coming on. And hopefully we can do some more of these soon after you go off and do all these other tournaments and different things that are going on. That'll be fun to recap and talk more about it then.
All right, sounds great.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you everybody for watching this or listening to this. Again, if you're listening on Spotify or on Apple iTunes, this is going to be on YouTube as well. It'll be on my RC Archery YouTube channel. So check that out on there if you'd like to see the video version and see all the cool stuff on Adam's bow, different things that we were talking about that he's 3D printed, just how he set everything up. But thank y'all again, and we'll talk to you soon.